A Flower by Sandra. I was a young seed, very fragile and very small. I was covered in dirt, nourished by water, and with a little light I began to grow. No one noticed as far as I could tell. But each day nourishment came and I started to bloom. Really bloom, in ways that I never imagined possible. Still, no one noticed. Tons of people walked by, people on their way to school, work, and church. Occasionally someone glanced or nodded, but no one really looked. No one really appreciated the way the light shone on my petals, or how I glisten as the sun rises first thing in the morning. Still, I grew. I began to notice the world around me. Planted in the garden around me were many flowers. Purple ones, pink ones, red ones, and yellow ones. Some of those flowers must have been very pretty, because people passing by would stop and smell them. People would trim their leaves and pull weeds from their dirt. They would give them special treats and spritz them with water while smelling their blossoms. Oh, how I enjoyed watching the spectacle. I would dream of the people who would come for me. I imagined how much freedom I would have once the weeds stopped choking me and stealing my water, fighting every day for what I knew was a basic need. I imagined the taste of the good stuff. Still, I grew. As the years passed, I realized the other flowers had a lot in common. Instead of one yellow flower, there were 7. 12 purple, 3 red, and 5 pink. Then I caught a glimpse of myself in the reflection of the rain on a moonlit night. I was surprised at how many colors I had, and how different I was from the rest of the flowers. I began to long for rainy nights and would stay up all night just waiting for that glimpse one more time. One night, not too special in setting, I was waiting and hoping. It was very still and quiet, and I heard a voice calling to me. It said, "I am your gardener. I have been watching you grow all these years. I have been caring for you. Every couple of weeks I send a rainstorm so you may get the water you need. I'm careful not to give you too much, or you would have drowned like the purple flowers. Or too little. Do you remember how the poor pink flowers dried up so fast? I raise the sun every day and let it shine just enough so your leaves will stay tender and soft. Oh, and about the weeds. I know they are a nuisance, but they are necessary. See, every time you stood your ground and protected your home, your roots grew stronger and deeper. They grew so strong and deep that the weeds around you could no longer harm you. You may not have seen me, but I couldn't trust people to care for you. They mean well, but are very lost themselves. Either they would have given you too much sun or too much water. I wanted you to know me. I love you, I planted you, and I cared for you. And I longed for the day when you were mature enough to come home with me to live in my garden." So at this point I was weeping like a baby. Not only had I met the gardener I longed for, but I realized how much he knew about me. He had to have been with me all along. He knew the answer to all of my questions, and I didn't even have to say a word out loud. I wanted to scream. I knew you would come. I was hoping and praying, and I knew you would come. But I couldn't say that because he's been here all along. All I could do was just fall over and say thank you. When I began to get myself together and he was about to leave, I asked, "Why now after all these years?" And he said, "I wanted to come sooner, but these things take time. I couldn't tell you how special and beautiful I thought you were until you had really seen and appreciated yourself, because you wouldn't have believed me. But now, when you feel the warm sun on your petals, think of me. When the rain washes away the silt on your leaves, know that I love you. And finally, as those weeds pull and tug, dig deep and stand your ground, for I'll always be with you. Peace."